Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a fabulous day. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to create 10 cards with the Spellbinders Card Kit of the month for July 2021. The kit is called Damask Daydream and I love the colors in this kit. It kind of reminds me of like a carousel color palette. So pretty. So we're jumping in. I'm going to go ahead and start by taking a panel that measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. I trimmed it down. All the pattern papers that I use today are in the Damask Daydream 6x6 paper pad. We're going to adhere that to the card base and also the card bases we used from the kit too. If you guys want to know what's in the kit, I'll link it at the end of the video, but I go through all the kit contents. And that's what I'm using to create my 10 cards. Now, I did die cut during my unboxing these 2 little flowers and the little flourish. Actually, one of them. I ended up die cutting out another one. These are so pretty, guys. These are the dies in the kit this month. I used the white cardstock that came with the kit, and I'm adhering them to a vellum square, rectangle. It measures 2 1/4 inches by 3 inches, but these, I love outlines of floral images because when you adhere them to vellum, it looks very lacy and dainty, and I just think it's just gorgeous. I pop my flowers up with foam squares. There's a hole in the center of these flowers, and then there's a solid area behind it. I'm going to cover that hole with one of the gemstones that came in the kit, so I'm not too concerned with the foam adhesive being behind it. You won't be able to tell it's there. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit better so you can see. But these are so pretty. These have little berries and leaves on them, and we're going to place these to the left of our vellum. And then I did die cut out 2 sets of the small leaves. I'm going to grab those. These are so pretty, and they're the perfect size for these flowers. I'm only going to use 3. I kind of like odd numbers. When it comes to the leaves, we're going to attach those just using the tape runner. The kit does come with double-sided adhesive and foam squares, guys, but I find that these foam squares are just easier for me to use, and then also if I have my tape runner, it's just easier to use also. We're going to put 1 leaf on top and scoot these little flourishes over. But I just think this looks so pretty. It reminds me of one of those lacy appliques that you put on fabric, maybe some aprons, or I put them on my apron. I wear lots of aprons, but I think it's just so pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? You could actually make a wreath, a real pretty wreath with these florals with the dies in the kit this month. Okay, this for my sentiment, I'm using one of the die cut sentiment strips. This says love and laughter. I popped it up with foam adhesive, and my camera is way blurry, but after I popped it up with foam adhesive, I flipped over my vellum and add foam adhesive behind it also. This way there's a little bit of dimension there. Last but not least, we're going to go ahead and add some of our gemstones that came in the kit. I'm going to add them to all the berries on our flourishes, and then those are the smallest ones in the set, and then the second largest from the smallest I put on the flower centers. But I love the way this looks. I'm going to keep it just simple and lacy looking, and that is card number 1 using the dies in the kit this month. We're going to move along to our second project, and I already have some pattern papers trimmed down. I have the triangle or the diamond shaped damask green paper. We're going to stamp directly on it. So I took one of the flowers in the stamp set. It's the one that has the partial stem up in the top right corner here. I'm going to stamp this just with some black ink. I also have the hello that I stamped during my unboxing, and then the flower that I stamped and die cut during the unboxing. Both of those 2 have coordinating dies in the kit this month. We're going to use them for our second project. I stamped flowers on the bottom and then the top of my pattern paper, and since the pattern paper is on the thin side, I'm using some adhesive back fun foam. This actually gives it a lot of stability when you pop up your panel versus the foam squares. but I added that, and then I have a couple pieces from the die cut pack. This one is like a little paper that says beauty. We're going to add that. It is overhanging our pattern paper a little bit. And then I have this little ticket tag, kind of a die cut piece. We are going to layer our black and white flower on the end of it and then pop it up. We flipped the entire thing over and then popped it up. And then there is a little excess overhanging, about 1/4 inch we trimmed off. Next, I did add adhesive behind my little hello. We're going to add this, and there's a lot of sentiments you can add with the hello in your stamp set. Wasn't sure which one I wanted, so I'm not sure about the placement of my hello, but I think we're going to add friend. So I'm going to raise it up just a little bit, grab, and the secondary sentiments, guys, are typewritten, which is really nice. So I stamped that right below the hello. Last but not least, we're going to bring in some more of our gems. We're going to use a lot of these gems in this kit this month. And we're just going to add them 3 above our sentiment and then a couple down below. I think these are perfect gems because they really pick up the colors in your on your card projects. Okay, after we have this done, after we have our gems adhered, we're going to call this card good, and we're going to continue on to our next card, number 3. We're going to make a collage card. So pretty, kind of antique-ish. Okay, next we have some pattern papers that I trimmed down. This pattern paper is 3.5 inches wide by 4 3/4 inches tall. We're going to mat that on some of the yellow cardstock that came in the kit. The yellow cardstock measures 3 3/4 inches by 5. We're going to place this at an angle directly on our card base, and then I'm going to add a little adhesive. I think I had it upside down, so I've had to flip it around. And I like having just 2 cut lines, so we're going to trim off the left side here and then also trim off the bottom. Now once we have these trimmed off, you know what, guys, take those extra pieces, let's put them on the inside. No use to putting those to waste. I think sometimes when you decorate the inside, it just adds a nice element to your projects. Pretty. Now I have some die cut pieces, 2 of the flowers, 2 of the leaf flourishes, and then for my sentiment I have the die cut that says beautiful. I'm going to tape all of these 3 together. Now once they're taped together, I like doing this because it's just easier to add foam adhesive behind it. I'm just adding some foam tape behind it and placing that in the bottom right corner. And then we're going to add our leaves up on top here. We're going to add both of them up on top. Once we have these adhered, I am going to bring back my gems and just add a few. Sometimes I steer away from the larger gems, but we're going to bring those out for these cards. I think since this is a large image card, we can get away with adding the large. We're going to do a little tucking with the largest gems, and then we're going to bring out some sparkle here. But that is card number 3. That's my beautiful card. We'll just adhere a couple more. If you guys are new to the Spellbinders kits, I encourage you to check them out. They are a fabulous value. You get so much in the kits, and there's lots of inspiration with the kits too. But that finishes card 3. We're going to move along to card number 4. Card number 4 is very easy, but I think it's probably one of my favorites. It kind of looks a little regal to me. I have some pattern paper that I trimmed down to 4 inches by 5 1/4. This is going to go in the center of our card front here. And then I have some gold and white striped pattern paper. I trimmed this down to a panel that measures 4 1/4 inches wide by 3.5 inches tall. This is going to go in the center. And then this die cut piece, it's I don't know, it's just green and it has gold accent, but it says happy go lucky on it. I'm going to pop this up with some fun foam and then put that right on top of that stripe paper. For my sentiment, I'm using one of the die cut strips. This says, "It's your day to shine." I did add foam tape behind it, and we're going to place that right below our happy-go-lucky piece. Last but not least, I am going to add some white twine. Just added it on the left side of my card, tying a bow at the top. And then I'm not going to add any bells whistles. I just think that looks fancy. I'm going to leave it as it is. So that's card 4. Now we're going to move on to our next card. I'm taking a strip of this pattern paper. I love the colors in here. I'm trimming off the pink so it'll fit on my card base. We're going to make a landscape style card. Once this is trimmed off, I found coordinating butterflies that matched the colors on this paper. I popped this up with foam tape. Now I did mat this pattern paper on some white cardstock, just so I have a little bit of stability when I added my foam tape. This is going to go on the bottom of our panel. Once that's adhered, you can see we have our coordinating butterflies. We're going to line them up with the coordinating colors on that beautiful colored strip. I love those colors. But we're going to add our blue butterfly first. And I didn't notice this during the unboxing, but these butterflies actually have little gold wire antennas. I love when you have, and then they have a clear acetate over them. So it looks, there are lots of layers in here with the glitter and then the wire and the acetate. I love that. Okay, I added all 3, and then for my sentiment, I chose the Love chipboard sticker here. It's the glittery one, and I think the stamp has a U in it. So I'm going to take that, add it to an acrylic block, and we're going to stamp U right beside the love. So it says "Love You." We'll ink it up with some black ink. I need to scoot it over just a little bit. I'm going to put it right next to the E here. We'll stamp this so it says "Love You." And my sticker's not sticking too well. You might need to add a little bit of extra adhesive behind these chipboard stickers. They're stuck really good to your plastic sheet, but when you remove them, you might need to add a little bit of extra adhesive. No biggie, we'll just stick that down. And then, since the U is the only black thing on my card, I'm going to bring in my black memento marker, and I'm going to do some faux splattering, just adding little dots of black, kind of at a diagonal from the bottom right to the top left. Just kind of those little black fake splatters really kind of just tie everything together. But that's card number 5. Okay, we are going to move along to our next project. Our next project is actually very, very simple. I'm using a few of the pattern papers and then a few die cut pieces. I have the balloon pattern paper that measures card front size, and we're going to tape this down to our card front. We're going to make another landscape card, so it's going to cover the entire card front, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. And make sure your balloons are landscape style too when you trim down your paper, guys. Next, we have some gold and white stripe paper. This measures 3 3/4 inches by 3 inches. It's thinner, so I'm going to take some fun foam and make sure it's large enough to support that paper. We're going to just remove the release paper and add our fun foam here. This is going to go in the center of our card front. And then I have the carousel horse, and then I also have the sentiment that says bonjour. Bonjour, sounds so fancy. I'm going to go ahead and flip over my carousel horse, add some foam adhesive behind here. I am leaving the area behind the pole a little bit open because I'm going to tuck a flower behind there, and I didn't want my foam adhesive to prevent me from doing that. This is going to go straight in the center of our stripe panel. And then I'm going to go ahead and add adhesive behind my sentiment, and this is going to go directly on top of my carousel horse. I'm not going to pop it up, just going to tape it down. Now, after we have our sentiment added, I thought this really looks kind of like a baby shower card. You could like welcome a baby with this. I think that would go perfect with the sentiment. but I do want to add a few flowers. If you want to be a boy baby card, leave the flowers off, but I like the little chipboard flowers. I'm going to go ahead and add the purple one behind the horse here, and then I'm going to take one of the yellow ones and add it on top. We're going to decorate those flower centers with our gems, the smallest gem in a kit, and then that is card number 6. Super pretty. I was going to take the larger gem and add it to the pole of the carousel horse and thought it was too much, so keeping it simple with just the flower centers. Okay, we're going to move along to card 7. This one is such a pretty card. We're going to use some pattern papers. I have the gold stripe paper. This measures 2.5 inches wide by 3 3/4 inches tall. We are going to add this directly on the seam of the card, about a 1/2 inch up from the bottom. Next we have this pretty blue damask strip. It measures 1 3/4 inches wide. We are going to add this over our stripe paper about a 1/2 inch, or no, actually about a 1/4 inch from the bottom. Trim off the excess on top. So it ends up measuring 1 3/4 inches wide by 5 1/4 inches tall. Okay, this is such a pretty flourish. It has the gold accents that's just very feminine. I'm going to go ahead and add foam adhesive behind it, and this is going to go overlapping the gold in the damask pattern paper. And for my sentiment, I have the little banner that says we all have stories to tell. I went ahead and add foam tape behind it. This is going to go in the top right corner. And I just love the gold and the colors of this. We are going to add one more element. There is a heart in the glittery chipboard sticker pack. Now, if you guys, I think this it doesn't, to me, it hasn't shedded on my hands or anything, but if you want to, if some of you don't like to deal with the glitter, if you want to put glossy accents over that heart, you very well could seal in that glitter. But that's card 7, and we're going to move along to card number 8. I have all the tickets in the die cut pack. You guys could, Spellbinders usually, if there's die cuts in their die cut packs, there's lots of tickets, and I'm always looking for ways to use them because I love the way they look. So for today's card, I have a panel that measures 3 inches wide by 4 1/4 inches tall. I'm adding foam tape behind each one of my tickets, and we're layering them at a diagonal all along the inside of this panel. We're going to cover the entire panel with tickets at a diagonal. I'm just making sure that 2 colors aren't together, kind of evenly spacing them apart. And they are overhanging, but no worries, we're going to trim them off. If you guys have extra open area, you can take the excess that's overhanging and create another card. I think that would be fabulous. Or open spaces on the card that you're working on. I did pretty good, didn't have very many open spaces. I think I only had to add 1 small orange ticket to the left side there. But I trimmed off the excess, and then I had 1 pink ticket left over. There's a sentiment on there that says a little bit of perfection. I'm going to trim that out, add a piece of foam tape behind it, and then we're going to layer this on our pink ticket, just so it stands out, so they actually, maybe your eyes will bring you to that ticket first because of the dimension on it, and that could be my sentiment. But I love the colors in these tickets. They're fabulous. I wanted a little background around my tickets, so I'm taking another piece of white cardstock. It measures 3 1/4 inches by 4 1/2 inches. We're going to mat our ticket piece right on top of our white cardstock, so we have a white border. Next, I have some of the purple diagonal stripe paper. It measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. We're going to adhere this to our card base. We have a little bit of white border on our card base with this panel. And then after this is centered, there's quite a bit of dimension with those tickets. I just love the way this looks. I'm going to go ahead and just flip over this panel and directly adhere this to the center of my card base. And then I'm not going to add anything else to it. I think this is a great card too, because there's so many sentiments on those tickets that you could use it for so many occasions. Today is your day, happiness, you have a little bit of perfection, you have everyday memories, and then the golden afternoon. You got so it's super fun. That is card number 8, guys. For my next card, I was loving this green damask paper, and so this piece here you can actually trim down to about a 1/2 inch wide strip. You don't need that big of a strip. I'm going to layer them basically like this, but I do want to add a little bit of gold behind our gold pattern paper here. So I have a strip of the gold mirror cardstock. I'm letting about a little over 1/8 of that gold show on this pattern paper. The gold print paper measures 2 3/4 inches wide. I'm going to go ahead and adhere our green paper to our card base, leaving a little bit of white showing on that right side. And again, you can get away with having a 1/2 inch strip here. I went ahead and added my gold pattern paper, and then I die cut out a circle. It's about a 3 1/4 inch circle, and then trimmed a straight line on the left side of it, so we can adhere that to our card base all the way to the left. For my images, I'm using the hot air balloon and then also the sentiment that says, "It's so amazing." I decided to take the fun from our sticker pack and layer it on that "It's so amazing" sentiment strip, and then popped it up with foam adhesive. This is going to go over our hot air balloon, and I'm going to add one of those little yellow flowers from that sticker pack too, keeping it soft. Last, we're going to add some gems to this as well. We're going to add 3 above the sentiment, and then we're going to add 3 on the bottom of that hot air balloon, keeping in that green circle. But basically it's a green and gold card, but I just love the way this looks. Could be just because card, which is nice, but love these gems. Okay, for my final card today, I have a lot of pattern paper scraps left over, and sometimes I like to use them for my card projects, and these were so pretty. I love the colors. So I have a panel that measures 3 inches wide by 4 1/4 inches tall. We're going to take these pattern paper strips, this one happens to be 3 inches wide, which is perfect, but it's the green damask paper. I'm adding that to the bottom. The height of that is 1 1/4 inches. And then the next 3 strips of pattern paper are 1/2 inch strips that I just had left over. I'm going to add the gold white striped, the pink. The pink was from the big huge striped, the paper with the butterflies. I just trimmed that out. And then we have our green damask, and then last we have our gold print here. The gold print ends up measuring 1 1/4 inches tall also. There's a little bit overhanging on the top. We're going to end up trimming this off. So the measurements that I give you is actually 1 1/4 inches that's on that panel. But love the colors of this. I love doing this with pattern paper. I just think it's so pretty. I did pop up my panel with foam tape and placed it in the center of my card base. And then for my sentiment, we're going to use the gold glitter hello. We're going to add that. And then there is a teal butterfly that kind of coordinates with that damask strip, 1/2 inch strip there. We're going to add our butterfly, and it coordinates too, the butterfly center with our sentiment, which I like. I was going to use the little heart, and I think that's just too much, so we're not going to use that. We'll set that aside and keep our butterfly as our embellishment for this card. But that is card number 10, finishing off our 10 cards with the Spellbinders Card Kit of the month for July 2021. Such a fun kit. I love kits like this because there are lots of everyday cards, and I like florals too. So here's a look at all of the 10 cards. Now, again, that lacy look with the vellum is so pretty. I encourage you guys to try that. I always have so much fun creating with the Spellbinders kits. There's so much, and it's coordinated for you, and it's always jam-packed. Dies and stamps and die cuts and gems, embellishments. So super fun. I mean, those stickers alone, the butterfly stickers alone, are super pretty. But if you guys do want to see still shots, I take individual photos over my blog. You guys can head on over there. I actually put the largest one in front, and that's my most favorite of all of, actually this I had a hard time picking, but I always put the largest one showing my favorite. But I'd like to hear what card is your favorite. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. I wish you a fabulous day, and we will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.